We're live.
Live once again, episode 3. We got the whole crew here today. Corey, say hi to the people. They missed you.
What's up? Sorry I missed out on last week.
You want to tell us what happened last week?
Oh yeah, dude. Okay, so at my job I work with a bunch of delinquents, and they've decided to start instilling riots. But luckily, one of the kids that was the ringleader of it all got arrested just yesterday, so we won't have to be dealing with him anymore. So hopefully, he'll be a lot more relaxed and able to be on here on a more consistent basis.
He sounds like the type of kid that's going to relax easily,
Yeah.
So, we got a lot to cover today. Good to be back. In case anybody watching here has not found out, website up and ready. Gringo Saucip with an S. Working on fixing that. I don't know how that happened, but I'm going to have to contact customer support, blah, blah, blah. But that's where you can find us at right now, gringosaucip.com. I'm going to start with both of you guys. You guys, what are you guys' takeaways of last weekend? We can start with UFC 220. It doesn't matter who goes first. What'd you guys take away from the main card fights?
Well, Stipe is the truth. We know this. Yeah, it was kind of as I expected it. I thought if it got out of the first round, it was going to be all Stipe. But I did think Ngannou was going to touch him. But can we talk about my biggest takeaway is that UFC commercial with Ngannou running on the treadmill and all this shit. Where was that?
Yeah, right. Derek Lewis tweeted the same thing. He kind of jabbed at him he's like, that is a treadmill. That is a treadmill. Yeah, man, he just faded immediately. But oh my God, what a first round.
Yeah. It was such a tense fight. I mean, even into the later rounds, it was just tense. Like it didn't feel safe for Stipe ever,
Only because he can knock you out with one punch, like no matter how tired he is.
And fucking hips, dude. Dude, all right. Let's talk about this. This is a real pressing issue with the heavyweight division. How can the dude who made his way all the way to the title not be able to hip escape? He doesn't know how to hip escape.
Bro, he didn't know how to do anything.
You must learn to shrimp.
Come on.
Move your hips.
It's a real problem.
It seemed like he was just unaware and uneducated. I mean, maybe that's not the case. I don't know what happened with his camp, and you had Dana come out and say that he, kind of bashed him for taking those 2 random weeks in France right before the fight. I don't really obviously know what they did in training camp, but, it didn't look like they prepared much on the ground.
I don't think they prepared much, period, since I think he was kind of coasting off his camp for the Overeem fight, and like you said, he went over to Paris for 2 weeks. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that.
Camp on a plane.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm sure the UFC was, I don't know because what Stipe was saying with the UFC, hoping Francis wins. I'm sure the UFC would have liked for him to. It would have been the first, main Performance Institute trained guy to win a title. I don't know. I feel like Dana, kind of just with the belt thing at the end where Stipe took it out of his hand. What did you guys think about that?
I think that's just Stipe showing off his personality. He's going to take what's his, and he wants everyone to know it. No one's going to get in the way of that.
Yeah, Stipe he's a little upset, you can tell. With the way they were hyping that fight. It was a little crazy. I'm talking about Ngannou has the heaviest recorded punch of all time, and no other heavyweight has hit that machine. You know what I'm saying? It's embarrassing for Dana. Did you see this? I saw a picture of him kind of with his head down like this.
Yeah. I saw that. I wonder what he was thinking.
Oh, dude, he was like, we fucked up. So, dude, I feel like they've been banking on guys to win a lot, and whenever they are, it seems to go the other way.
All the time. I mean, even especially, I think the funniest still in recent time has been Paige Van Zant and Sage Northcutt. Like when those two first hit the scene, Dana was banking on both of them to be like contenders in their first 2 or 3 fights. Paige is non-existent. She'll post all these CrossFit videos with her boyfriend and then break her arm in the first round. No disrespect there. I mean, she made it to the third still. In the third round, she didn't even throw a right anything with her right at all.
It was crazy, dude. That was honestly insane that she was able to do that. And
Yeah,
I think
it was.
it was at the end of the second round, she was in that fully locked triangle.
Yep.
Yeah.
That chick was like looking to switch to arm bars. Like, can you imagine someone trying to armbar you and like your forearm is broken?
Yeah. She's a warrior.
Like, fuck it. Like, half my arm's already broken.
Maybe it made it more flexible at that point. Maybe that's why she was like, you know what, it's already broke.
I didn't hear the commentators mention it, but we were all going crazy. Holy shit! Like she hasn't fucking thrown her right hand, or was it her left hand? I don't know.
Was it right?
Well,
Yeah, it was right.
Yeah, everybody noticed it right away. It was crazy, and it didn't seem like her opponent noticed.
What Rose Clark said was when she had her in that arm triangle, I mean, I don't know if this is a conventional excuse, but, she gave the whole, like, women are smaller, it's harder to keep them, and blah, blah, blah. And, like, when you have a man, like, it's easier to have grip on, like, a choke, like a triangle arm choke. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Paige Van Zant, I mean, she fought and fought and fought without a right hand in that whole fight. For her to lose, not even in a dominant fashion, but for her to lose with what happened, I mean, I don't know. You got to give it up to her. Jessica Rose Clark is tough. She dominated Beck Rawlings a few months ago too. I think she could climb that ladder in that 125-pound division.
Yeah, I think Paige won that third round.
I do too. I had Paige win in the third round.
It's crazy. No, I saw Jessica Rose Clark said something like she said she didn't know her arm was broken if she said if she knew that she would have just broken it, switched that triangle to the armbar.
Brutal.
That's real nice, Jessica.
So let's look ahead. Let's look ahead to this upcoming weekend. We got a huge rematch on tap in the main event down in Charlotte. Big Fox hosts a 4-fight main card tomorrow night, starting at 8 Eastern, with Jacare, the Crocodile Souza. We'll get a rematch, even though I don't really consider this much of a rematch. It's been forever since these two guys fought in Strikeforce, and I've went back and watched the fight. It was a very quick KO by Jacare, kind of like a charging in recklessly kind of habit that Derek Brunson had in that fight, and he got caught. So, and it's been 5 years, and both guys are a lot different now. I don't even really see of it much as a rematch. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree, man. Brunson was very, very green. He got thrown into Strikeforce quick, like 1 or 2 years into his career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had no business fighting Jacare at that point. And to this point, I still don't think he has any business with Jacare personally.
Wow. Okay.
Damn, son.
No business with him. None.
And we'll get to those picks in a few short moments. But yeah, wow, you really think so? You think this Derek Brunson train is all hype?
I don't think it's necessarily that as much as Jacare is destined for this weight division. He's so much more elite and so much more dynamic than all the rest of the guys in the middleweight division. I still don't know how Whitaker beat him, to be quite honest with you. I'm still salty about it. I thought Jacare had it.
Man, when Jacare was climbing on Whitaker's back.
Yeah, dude, exactly.
I thought it was over. I mean,
you and me both.
Nobody gets away from him,
especially because they're up in the cage too.
That's what was so impressive about it, dude. Like he got up multiple times, and Jacare was even on his back, and he got up. Yeah, he shinned him.
One of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, widely considered one of the best, if not top 2, top 3, whatever, in UFC or MMA history, one of the best BJJ practitioners, to fight in mixed martial arts is Jacare Souza. I'm very interested to see because, for looking through Jacare's past fights most recent fights, I feel like they have just been, and I know a couple people have dropped out of fights with him, but I feel like they have just been feeding, because the Tim Boetsch fight, you had to believe that was going to be a first round submission for Jacare, and he got him in the Kimura. It looked too easy. Tim Boetsch doesn't have any, in my opinion, doesn't have any business being in that cage with Jacare. And I think a lot of guys that Jacare has fought in the UFC, when I look down and go back and watch his fights, a lot of times I'm looking at it like these guys don't have any business being in there with that guy. And he's developed his striking, but so has Derek Brunson. Both guys are completely different than where they were in 2012.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brunson's come a long way, improved a lot more, I believe, than like relative to Jacare's improvement since then. But I don't really like Brunson's style in this fight. He kind of plots forward with his chin up high. Like Whitaker really exposed that in their matchup. I just think Jacare's on another level. He got caught by Robert, who went on to beat Yoel Romero with one leg, and so there's no shame in that. He's beat some really good guys. He submitted Gegard. I mean, he submitted Chris Camozzi 6 or 7 times. No.
6 or 7 times.
Like
feels like it.
For real, man. I think they fought 3 times.
I think they definitely did twice.
Twice for sure, yeah. And they were both Chris Camozzi stepping in on late notice, I believe.
Yeah. Yep. That is correct. And Jacare, now if I'm going to put you guys in the shoes of Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby, if you realistically play matchmaker in this situation, doesn't matter who wins this fight, because historically speaking, with how the rankings have usually gone and where it stands right now, Jacare at 3, Brunson at 8. If Brunson wins, he's going to jump all the way to 3. And then you have Whitaker as the champ, who is going to fight, hopefully sometime down the road, the winner of Rockhold and Romero. And then that fight will happen. And if you think realistically and logically, the winner of this fight could be next. Could be right after that. Could be in a great position.
Well, definitely. Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Looking at the rankings right now. And yeah, I mean, especially if Jacare can get this done. I've wanted to see Weidman Jacare for years, since Weidman was the champion. And
wow, that'd be a great fight.
Little contender fight. To fight the eventual winner of Rockhold Romero, or after Whitaker fights the winner of that fight.
Chris might be too busy working in gas stations, though. Did you guys see that?
See what?
Right now, like he's as a part of like a monster promo. He's working in like gas stations all around Charlotte right now, and they got like the ring girls back behind the register and everything. It's pretty funny.
Shout out to Chris Weidman. He's hustling, man. He's been on. He's all over the place.
I know.
Cornering John Vellante last week. He'd be a phenomenal coach.
Yeah, he would.
I think he'd be a phenomenal coach. He could do a lot of guys. He could do great things for a lot of guys. I'm not crazy about John Vellante, though.
Hey, he looked pretty good the other night. Bahosa, he didn't want to engage at all, did he?
At all. Like, literally did not want any part of engaging, which just, I'm sitting there watching the whole time, like, what is going on? Like, the whole time.
Yep. John was just way more relaxed in there and just was that straight right was landing all night long.
Yeah, they started throwing in like rounds 2 and 3, but yeah, I don't know. While we retrospectively think of UFC 220, and before we go into our picks for tomorrow night, if we just want to recap real quick, me and Nick Dietrich are deadlock tied at the top with 15 points. Dietrich with a huge night on Saturday night.
You better believe it, boys.
which was catapulted by the Rob Font upset of Thomas Almeida. Tell the people, Nick, why Rob Font over Thomas Almeida? Why were you confident in that selection?
Rob Font, Boston guy. Oh, Corey has dropped out.
That's good. We'll get him back, and
we'll get him back in. I honestly just saw. That's what I thought. He was going to be able to pick him apart. What's up, Corey?
I don't know what just happened, dude.
Dude, I gave the first round to Almeida. I thought Almeida kind of controlled the octagon a little bit, like had better octagon control a little bit in the first round, maybe landed a few more strikes. I could be wrong. I don't know the statistics of what happened in that first round, but I gave the first round to Almeida, and I was obviously getting ready to give the second round to Font, before he starched him. And you got to feel for Thomas Almeida, man, coming off of, I believe, when he started 20-0, and now he's lost 3 of his last 4. It's not really a shame for 3 of your losses, and your only 3 losses to be to Garbrandt, Rivera. But, this Rob Font loss probably got to sting a little bit.
It seems like yesterday Almeida was coming off that flying knee knockout at UFC 189 and, was the main eventing against Cody Garbrandt, where he was a favorite in that fight.
He's a huge favorite.
It looked like he was destined for a UFC title, if not at least a title shot. But now at bantamweight, dropping these three losses, going to be a while for him to get back up there.
Yeah, and that division is full of contenders. I think, in my opinion, I think it's the 3rd in terms of stacked with most talent. I would rank it as the 3rd best division in the UFC, behind lightweight and welterweight. It's so stacked with talent, so stacked.
With the addition of Rivera, Marlon Moraes,
absolutely,
Cody, Asuncao, it's Dominic Cruz, man,
stacked. Very, very stacked division.
Yeah, Corey, what happened with that Almeida fight? You were in that outcome.
I wish it would have gone differently, and I wish I would have been able to watch it live. But I had 3 kids running away from their rooms and throwing off their clothes in the process. So
throwing off their clothes?
Oh, dude, that's their favorite thing to do. Once they do that, then we can't. If they throw off their clothes, then we can't restrain them. So then they just run around in circles outside until police come. So
butt-ass naked delinquent kids that you have to chase like you're playing tag.
Yeah, boxers in like 4-degree weather. It was fun.
Oh, God, that sounds like a blast.
Yeah, so Almeida was the last of my worries at that time, unfortunately.
All right, guys, so we look ahead to tomorrow night. We got a very wide array, so big cards on Big Fox tomorrow night. First fight of the night's at 4 o'clock. Recently added featherweight bout between a couple of newcomers, Austin Arnett, Corey Sandhagen. That will kick off the card at 4 o'clock, followed by prelims on FS1 and the main card, which every main card on Fox will include 4 fights. We're going to pick all 4 of these fights right here, and we will begin with, in my opinion, a very, very interesting fight between 2 guys who don't normally fight at 170, but they're moving up to 170 for this fight. We got Drew Dober, who's coming off a knockout win over Josh Berkman, and Frank Camacho, who's coming off a fight of the night against Damian Brown. I do believe he lost that fight. I could be wrong. Did Camacho win that fight?
I can set up really fast.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. He won that fight.
1-1 in the UFC.
It was fight of the night. It was a fantastic fight, and both of them normally, I believe, fight at 150. Well, I know that Drew Dober was asked by the California State Athletic Commission to move up for this fight after apparently he had, the California State Athletic Commission sniffs all around those weight cut things. And apparently this is just what he's doing for this fight. But that matchup is very, very interesting to me. Drew Dober and Frank Camacho. What are you guys' initial thoughts on that bout?
I think it's going to be a decent fight. I think Drew Dober is going to be able to overwhelm him, mix up his striking and takedowns well. He's just got far more experience in the UFC. I think he's fought a lot tougher guys. He's going to get the job done.
Talking about Dober, right?
Dober, yeah. I got Dober by decision in that fight.
Dober by decision for Nick Dietrich. Corey, it is your turn. Who you got in that fight?
I haven't seen enough of Camacho, and just going off, I mean, exactly what Nick said. I mean, Camacho has more fight experience overall, but the caliber of the guys that he's been going up against, I don't think it's really ready for this high of a stage. I really don't even see why these guys are on the main card over Eric Koch and Bobby Green. I like that fight a lot more
I love
personally.
that fight.
But yeah, just like I mean, exactly what Nick said. Dober is going to overwhelm him. I got it. Dober's going to take care of him. He'll be a TKO in the second round.
So 2 picks for Drew Dober, 1 by decision, 1 by TKO in the second round. You know, this was probably the most difficult fight for me to pick on the main card. You said second round TKO, Corey?
Yeah. Yep.
So a second round TKO and a decision for Drew Dober across the board. I am going to make it a unanimous choice for all of us. I do also like Drew Dober. I like him by decision. I think Frank Camacho is tough. He does, as you said, he doesn't have the UFC experience that or Camacho does not have the UFC experience that Drew Dober will bring into the octagon. But very intriguing fight to say the least. The odds are, you know, Dober coming in as a minus 175 favorite. I also like Drew Dober by decision in this fight. I think it's gonna be very close. Has all the scriptings and looking like it could be fight of the night. So unanimous choice for all three of us: Drew Dober, Corey by TKO, me and Nick by decision. We move on to another barn burner. I do feel like though this fight is only on the main card due to Jordan Rinaldi fighting at home. He takes on a massive minus 580 favorite and undefeated Gregor Gillespie. Nick, what you think about this fight?
You know, I feel bad that this is in Rinaldi's hometown because coming up against an absolute savage.
Stud.
Dude is a 4-time NCAA Division I All-American and a 1-time national champion. I mean, like, this is like some crazy, crazy wrestling that he's bringing to the table. And he's looked real good in his 2 UFC fights I've seen. He won his last by arm triangle. And the one before that by a vicious knockout, if I'm not mistaken.
Are you talking about Gillespie?
Yeah, I'm going with Gillespie.
Yeah.
To beat Rinaldi in his hometown. Second round TKO.
Yeah,
same thing. Just to go off, I mean, like, not only was he the 4-time All-American, he was the first true freshman to become an All-American at his school. I mean, this is a kid, D1 out of, I mean, it really was a no-name school making a name for himself. So, I mean, just the fact that he pretty much never had a handout. Like, you see a lot of these guys come out of powerhouse schools like Oklahoma State and Iowa and all these powerhouses. Gillespie really just stayed true to himself, knew what he wanted to do, and set records all across the board at his school as far as wins and everything else. So I got a first round submission. I mean, he's not even. I don't even think he's ranked in the gi as far as jiu-jitsu goes. But I mean, just his skill level, I think it tops Rinaldi's. And I feel bad for him too that he's going to be suffering that L in front of all of his peers.
I saw today a minus 600 favorite. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Latest odds I just saw is 580. It's right up there. They got different odds for like literally every single betting book. But so you got Gillespie first round TKO?
First round sub.
First round sub. Very interesting. I could definitely see the fight going that way. And my question to you guys both, is this your lock?
Yes, sir.
Actually, no. Not for me.
Corey, this is not your lock, okay?
Nope.
So we got second round TKO from Nick and first round sub from Corey, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Gregor Gillespie is also my lock. You said it, 4-time All-American in wrestling, just an absolute stud. And I touched on this a little bit previously on the last podcast. There's a difference between, and Joe Rogan has said this many times, there's a difference between guys who are just in there to fight and guys who want to be the best in the world and want to win that belt. And Gregor Gillespie, after his last fight, I know he was looking at the camera saying, I'm coming for that belt. you know he wants it. I also feel bad for Jordan Rinaldi. He is not looking good. I think it's a bad matchup. I think it's not particularly bad matchmaking, but I think he got thrown into the fire. I'm gonna go with Gillespie as well. That is my lock, and I got him by second round TKO. So another unanimous choice for all three of us. We got Drew Dober and Gregor Gillespie. And this one is very interesting. Co-main event. Andre Fili coming in as a plus 135 underdog fighting Dennis the Menace Bermudez. Corey, we'll start with you. I know you love Team Alpha Male.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about this fight?
You already know, man. And I turned my back on Touchy Feely for a while just because he was so underdeveloped at first, and he still had that party boy mentality, you know, like rocking the gauges, and he was like an advocate for partying over training and everything else. But now that he's had guys like Cody and Chad and everyone else around, Chad hasn't really been able to focus on his own competitions lately. So I feel like him as a coach in that atmosphere, I love Team Alpha Male and what they're doing. Feely seems like he's really found his game plans to be more true to himself rather than just kind of, because he used to just really fight helter skelter. You know, he would just kind of more address the fight as it went rather than just getting right after it. I feel like his cardio is a lot better and he's a lot more precise in his striking. So I'm gonna go. I think it'll go to distance. It'll be a decision, but Feely's gonna get it easily, and that's my upset. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, dude. I think it's going to be fight of the night. I think it's going to be a very back and forth scrap. But I ultimately see Bermudez being able to use his wrestling and take him down and win rounds.
Team Alpha Male, what do you mean, boy? Out wrestle Team Alpha Male, dog?
Yeah, bro, come on, son. Not everyone at Team Alpha Male is a wrestler. Who's that? Who's that Japanese dude?
The coach.
Oh. He just fought Gray Maynard.
Oh,
he got wrestle fucked by Gray Maynard. 55-year-old Gray Maynard.
Yeah. 55-year-old Gray Maynard. Oh, I know who you're talking about.
And Feely's one of them.
But Ishihara?
Yeah, Ishihara, my boy.
Gotcha.
I love my bitches, Ishihara. That's my dude. But he sucks. Anyways, I got Bermudez being able to win rounds with some techniques and generally control his striking, but I think Feely's going to have his moments in this fight. I got Bermudez by decision.
If I'm not mistaken, Corey, you had Feely by decision?
Yep.
Okay, so we unanimously agree on the nature of how this fight will end. I do too believe that this fight will go all 3 rounds. This fight was another difficult one for me to kind of select, just because Andre Fili is a hard guy to kind of predict. Not only because he's unpredictable with his striking, he was throwing wild shit against Lobov in Poland. But Fili I love his story. Coming from a poor household, he was the party kid, got his life together, focused on training a little bit more, blah, 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 blah. Everybody loves a good story. Bermudez, though, is in a very tough situation coming off back-to-back losses. You never want to be that guy in the UFC that's got 3 straight L's on your record. However, I do not think motivation to stop that streak will be enough. I like Andre Fili by decision. That is also my upset. Corey, this is your upset?
Yep.
Okay. So that is the first that's the first fight out of the 3 we've picked where we are not all unanimously in agreement. And now let's move on to the main event. We have Jacare and Derek Brunson. As I previously mentioned, winner could be the next guy to get a title shot. Corey, we'll start with you.
You guys already heard my opinion on it. I'll just keep it short and simple. Derek Brunson doesn't deserve to have this fight. He doesn't deserve to be in the octagon with Jacare.
He just face planted Naruto. Come on, bro. He can at least have the fight.
Crocodile's gonna have his way. He'll be fine. I don't have an upset on this card, so I almost did it just to do it, but there's just I can't bring myself to do it. So
You mean
I
you don't
think
have a lock?
or yeah, I'm gonna make this my lock. Yeah, you're right because Feely's my upset. You're right.
Correct.
I almost made Brunson my upset, but I thought Feely was gonna be a favorite to be honest when it came down to, so that's why I was having a hard time deciding. I'm gonna make Jacare my lock just because I believe in the guy so much. We'll say a 4th-round sub.
4th round. So, you have these harsh words for Derek Brunson, but you think he's going to
Yeah,
survive 3+ rounds?
yeah, because Jacare he's slowing down a lot. His style, especially in a 5-round fight too, he's a smart guy. He's not gonna go all out right out the gate, and just I feel like Derek Brunson's gonna really tire himself out early. He's gonna try and get after him because he knows that's the only chance he's gonna have. He's not that smart of a fighter. I think Jacare is just gonna wait until he tires out and then use that to his advantage.
Absolutely. I'm going with Jacare myself. I'm taking him by 1st-round submission.
1st round.
Look for him. I think this fight goes. I think Jacare, though he got caught by Whitaker, I think he's got really good stand up. And I look for him to land a big punch and stagger Brunson and you know take it to the floor from there. And it will look like someone grappling with a child. Jacare is able to secure the top position. It's just what will happen. Yep, and the reason I don't have an upset on this card, I was going to take Brunson as my upset, but since we don't have to have an upset pick, I would never disrespect Jacare like that. Uh, I think his jiu-jitsu is top notch, man. In the world of jiu-jitsu, let alone MMA. So look for a rear naked choke, possibly a guillotine.
Very interesting. So both of you guys are not on the Derek Brunson hype train. This fight to me, like I touched on earlier, I don't really see it. The two at the end of the Jacare Brunson, promotion and preview that, the UFC is putting out there. I don't look at it like really as a rematch. I think these guys both have developed their striking tremendously. Obviously, Jacare moved his family and his camp from Brazil to the United States, which people do all the time. But these guys are not the same guys that they fought in 2012. And while you may be right, Corey, about Brunson maybe not deserving to be with Jacare in the cage in 2012, I have to say I disagree on you say that he doesn't belong there now. Just because the Anderson Silva fight, that I thought that was the worst decision of the year, in my opinion. Brunson dominated the control of that fight. And his reaction at the end of it kind of said it all. I think it was very widely considered as one of the biggest blown decisions of the year. That being said, I don't take much stock either in him knocking out Machida, just because I think Machida's on the decline. His other knockouts, Dan Kelly, Uriah Hall, guys like that. I think that shows that he's got serious power in his striking now. Not only power, but tremendous confidence. I'm going to go against the grain on this one. I'm going to go Derek Brunson. I'm going to go Derek Brunson via another 1st-round knockout. I knew I'd catch some heat for this. And obviously, I'm not saying this is going to be an easy fight for Derek Brunson at all. If Jacare gets this fight to the ground, we're talking about an All-American wrestler too, and Derek Brunson, but the jiu-jitsu from Jacare might very well be too much if he gets him to the ground. However, I'm confident in how Derek Brunson has looked more poised and polished with his striking, and I think he's a lot more confident with his striking as well. So I'm going to go Brunson. You guys both have Jacare. I think we all have finishes. 1st-round sub for Nick, 4th-round sub for Corey. I have a 1st-round KO for Derek Brunson. You guys have anything else you'd like to add before we sign off today?
I think you need to lower the power of that vape you got over there, man. You got too much vape juice in your brain.
No, much respect, Derek Brunson. Brunson, he absolutely deserves to have this fight, Corey. It's gonna be a good one, but this is exactly how it's gonna go down. Jacque's gonna hit him with a punch. Uh, Brunson's gonna have to shoot, and he's gonna guillotine him.
I like that.
Or a rear naked, and he'll have the body triangle on too. Watch.
Oh yeah, that's his favorite.
Thanks for listening, everybody who isn't listening but will. This is a good episode.
Signing off. See you guys.
Peace.